Hello and welcome. You're tuned in to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio on a supernatural news Parashare day. Thank you for joining me. Tim Dennis will be back with you next week. Tim filled in yesterday for those of you so he could catch you up on what's going on. He did an episode about miracles. So if you check out yesterday's episode, you'll hear him talk about his dealing with this COVID and how it's been kicking his ass, but he's coming around the other side of it. So I wanted to give you guys the heads up on that so you can check that out, get all the information and updates. We had to switch a little bit because I've had a lot of things going on this week, and I am off now in Las Vegas for the Las Vegas ParaUnity Conference, which is taking place all weekend, Friday and Saturday at the MGM Grand. There are still some tickets available. You can find information at darknessevents.com. Darknessevents.com. It is a dream team lineup. Cindy, myself, Shane from the Holzer Files, Shane and Josh from Searchers are going to be there. Joshua Gates is going to be on hand. There are so many different speakers. It would take me the entirety of the show to list all of them. Well, if I spoke really slow, but I want you to go check it out. If you are in the Las Vegas area this weekend and you want to come, you can get tickets and more information. Just go check out darknessevents.com or head on over to the MGM Grand this weekend and get tickets at the door. I hope you'll check that out. I do have a few things to mention up front. As many of you have known from listening to the show over the years, our Darkness Angels program that we've done around Christmas. We haven't done them recently, but my little brother, Dwayne, is actually working on a Biker's Christmas Miracle. It is a great program with Chainbreakers MC. They're asking for donations for their second annual Biker's Christmas Miracle in order to provide Christmas presents to families that have found themselves on hard times as a result of COVID, family loss of jobs, other challenges that are facing them this time of year. They have a goal of $2,000. We're already up over $1,200. We know that with your help, we can surpass this. So if you're interested in making a donation and helping us crush this $2,000 goal, all the money is going to help families in need. And for many of you that have helped out in the past, thank you so much. For those of you that are willing to make that stretch and do that again, then please just reach out to me on social media, or you can reach out to me at my email, dave@darknessradio.com, and I will send you the link. I'm going to be in Las Vegas all weekend, so I will respond simply with the link, and I apologize, but it'll just be copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. But that way you can have the link and make a donation to make the holidays a little bit merrier for people that are currently dealing with hardships and trouble in their lives. With that said, there is another favor I need to ask of you. And as you know, I am very cautious. We do not ask for much in the way of GoFundMes and things like that. Even though we are inundated with them, we have always made a policy on this show to make sure that we could vet and know the people involved in these issues before we would just go ahead and start posting GoFundMes. Well, on Thanksgiving, I think I'd mentioned on the show in the past, there was a tragedy. My daughter, Pacey, she is fine, but her good friend, her best friend, passed away in an ATV accident. And Bella was only 16 years old. She lost her life tragically, but swiftly. When they were on the ATV, it caught some air and I guess came down and killed her. Also on the ATV was her boyfriend, Tashad Nelson. Tashad was in a very serious ATV accident in the Brainerd, Minnesota area, and he had to be airlifted to the hospital in critical condition. It's simply a miracle that Tashad survived the accident. But unfortunately, as I said, his girlfriend, Bella, did not, which is completely devastating. Not only does this boy have quite a row in front of him to hoe as he is trying to recover from this with the holidays just around the corner, but to have lost his girlfriend on top of it is horrible. Tashad has had to have multiple surgeries and procedures to try to stop the infections in his body from spreading. He's had to have stents put in his lungs and kidneys, and now possibly his liver as well. Keeping his fever down and managing the pain has been a real challenge. And his mother has spent days with him trying to keep him peaceful, but has to travel home at night due to the COVID restrictions. The exact amount of surgeries that Tashad will need is unknown, as well as the time he will spend in the hospital. They're certain that he will need inpatient physical therapy, among many other things. The road to recovery is going to be very long, but we all know that Tashad is a fighter, and never, ever does he give up. He's touched many lives in our community, and his family, friends, and coaches all love Tashad wholeheartedly and know he would do anything for anyone, and we're asking for help now in this. There is a GoFundMe up. They're trying to raise $25,000 to help pay for medical expenses and other expenses that are going to come up. I will post a link on my social media pages for this. If you have it in your heart to make a donation and help this family, it would be greatly appreciated. You can also email me, dave@darknessradio.com. That's dave@darknessradio.com. And I will send you a link so that you can make a donation and help out with this and help this young man and his family go through this grieving and healing process. So again, the holidays are here and this family needs our help. So if you could find it in your heart, please help Tashad Nelson and his family in whatever way you can. And even though $25,000 is a big goal, they're at about $3,500 right now, about $2,200, $2,150 away, or $21,500 away from their goal. But I think we can even surpass that. Anything you could do would be greatly appreciated. Again, I'll have this link up on my social media pages, and I'll have it up at Darkness Radio, or at, actually, if you email me, dave@darknessradio.com, I'll send you the direct link, and I hope you will consider helping out. All right, let's get started on our supernatural news Parashare Ouija Believe in Superstitions edition. See what I'm doing there? Ouija. Believe, like, would you believe? And anyway, if I have to explain that, it's just not as funny. Probably wasn't to begin with, but what the hell? I thought I'd have a little play on words. We're going to talk some Ouija board stories later, but we're going to talk about superstitions. Many of our most long-lasting superstitions, and in some cases, superstitions, like avoiding ladders, Friday the 13th, or spilling salt, they date back centuries, and many of them have surprising origin stories. And I have, thanks to our friends at MSN News, some really interesting insights to some of these most famous and legendary superstitions. We're going to talk about them now. First off, Groundhog's Day. Although we are a few months off from Groundhog's Day, many of us are already counting the days till the end of winter. Animals predicting the weather was adapted from German culture when settlers arrived in the U.S. and chose Pennsylvania as their home. The old Candlemas Day tradition in Germany involved members of the clergy distributing blessed candles, which were used to determine how long the winter weather would last. Animals were also observed to see how long their hibernation periods lasted. Germans closely tracked badgers and found groundhogs to be the next best thing. And in America, what are we but the next best thing, right? We'll settle. Let's settle. Badgers, maybe we can't trust them, but the groundhog, they're tried and true. So that's how we got Groundhog's Day. Now, what about Friday the 13th? Oh, yes, friends, long before Jason Voorhees and his mother Pamela decided to take to the woods to hack apart fornicating and weed-smoking teens, Friday the 13th had a much darker aspect to its history. The stigma attached to Friday the 13th is believed to have biblical roots. The number 12 is seen in many cultures as sort of a perfect number. Unless, of course, you go to the bakery and get a baker's dozen, which is a dozen plus that extra donut or biscuit or muffin that they give you. That seems pretty magical to me. But a dozen was the perfect number. So anything above that kind of throws things out of skew. And according to the Bible, Judas was the 13th guest to arrive at the Last Supper. And Friday was widely believed to be the day that Jesus was crucified, but that's since been brought into question. Similarly, in Norse mythology, Loki was the 13th guest to arrive at a dinner for the gods in Valhalla and then wreaked havoc on the entire event. The Friday superstition also has its origins here in the United States, where in the 19th century, all executions took place on Friday. I know that it also has something to do with the Knights Templar being put to death and so many other things that took place. But 13 certainly has gained the notoriety for bad luck. I personally had great luck on Friday the 13th. I've always had some pretty decent luck. What about you, faithful listeners, my little darklings across the world? What do you think of Friday the 13th? Is 13 a good number or a bad number? And if it's not a bad number to you, what is your unlucky number? My lucky numbers have always been 11 and 22 because I'm kind of egotistical that way. And I'm born on November 22nd, the 11th month, the 22nd day. That's always been why those numbers stand out to me the most. But I also like the number 7. Who doesn't? Everybody loves 7. 7's so alluring. But I digress. What numbers do you find creepy? What numbers freak you out besides 666? And don't even let me say my favorite number, 69. That's just crazy talk. Did you guys know that there is a word for people who fear Friday the 13th? I would tell you that word, but I know that I'll butcher it. I'll try it anyway. It's a long one. Let me check something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. No. So it's much longer than 13 letters. I was going to say, wouldn't that be trippy if the word that covers fear of 13 would have had 13 letters in it? That would have been ironic. But it's Frigga, Triska, Kadaika, Kapova, Kalakapalapophobics. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. Rolls right off the tongue. FRIGGATRISKAIDEKOAPHOBICS. I can't even just say the letters without messing it up. Frigatrisca. Check it out for yourself. The more you know. All right, let's get back to it. What other strange superstitions are there? How about breaking a mirror? Ancient Romans believed that mirrors held pieces of your soul. This, coupled with the myth that our body renews itself every 7 years, fueled the superstition that breaking a mirror means you're damning your soul to 7 years of bad luck. Mirrors have always had that place in superstitious lexicon, right? When somebody dies in the house, you quickly cover the mirror so that their souls would not be trapped in those spaces. And if you have mirrors opposing one another in a room and you're having a lot of paranormal activity, try moving the mirrors so they're not directly facing one another, creating perhaps a light portal, an energy tunnel, if you will, for these spirits to traverse the dimensions. So try that. But I also know another reason that breaking a mirror was bad luck was it was very costly. You would back the glass with silver and like a leafing or a painting of silver, and it was very costly. So if you did that and you broke the mirror, it was very expensive to replace. So you would be very cautious, and it would be bad luck to shatter those mirrors. So again, kind of a folklore fable rolled into it. What about black cats crossing your path? Many cultures throughout history actually regarded all cats as good luck omens, but black kitties, they got kind of a bad rap in the Middle Ages because they were the ones associated with witchcraft and actually viewed as demons. The demon thing snowballed into an idea that if a black cat crossed your path, they were blocking your connection to God and your pathway to heaven. So think about that. And I always tell people, adopt a black cat, especially around Friday the 13th. If you're looking for a cat, do that. So many people buy black cats and then abandon them or have sacrificed them, done horrible things. Just go give your love to a black cat. They're sweet. I'll tell you, I have got 4 cats of varying colors. They're all demons. They're all trying to kill me at all times. I love the little bastards, but they're still dangerous no matter what color. How about blessing a sneeze? I mean, it's become reflex to all of us. It's like walking down the hall and seeing somebody and going, "Oh, hey, Tim, how you doing?" And just keep walking. We don't really care how they're doing. We just keep making our way down the hall, just like a sneeze. Well, God bless you. Gesundheit, bless you. Why, though? Why do we bless somebody just for sneezing? Well, because for a long time, it was believed that sneezing could be saving someone from damnation. The custom originated with the superstition that a person's soul separated from their body when they sneezed. What happens when we fart then? Something to think about. I mean, if a violent eruption of air could separate you from your soul, I'm just saying there's many of us out there that have been soulless for centuries because nobody blesses you when you fart. Nobody. I have to bless my children and wife from time to time, but that's about it. All right. Yeah, so saying bless you was a way to keep the devil from swooping in to steal the soul or taking over the now hollow shell of a body, possessing the person. I didn't know about this. Crossing your fingers. This lucky superstition started back in the pre-Christian days when crosses were symbols of power and unity. And people believed there was a power in the middle area of the cross. They would cross their fingers and make a wish while focusing on the center area where the fingers intersected. Of course, we bastardized it now, and we cross our fingers to lie, manipulate, cheat, and steal. All like, it's okay if as long as I've crossed my fingers, it's not a real lie. We like to comfort ourselves in the stupidest ways, don't we? What about walking under a ladder? I would think the bad luck from that is you don't want somebody dropping a pail of paint on your noggin or something that they were carrying up the ladder. That would be bad luck. But this one actually has a more morbid beginning. See, back in medieval times, ladders were associated with the gallows, where people were hanged. A person who made the mistake of walking under a ladder was believed to be facing their own death by hanging in the near future. There was also the belief that because people were hanged from the top of the ladder, the area underneath the ladder would therefore be haunted. What about those strange examples of us blowing candles out on a cake? Why do we do that? Well, like many others on the list, wishing on candles dates back to the ancient Greeks, when they would bake cakes and top them with candles to ask Artemis, the mood goddess, for a favor. The smoke from the extinguished candles was believed to carry the message up to the gods as it rises. That's why it's a great thing to do. If you're being stressed by something or someone, jot down the things that stress you out. Maybe write the letter to somebody who irritates you and annoys you, and you know that talking to them is going to get you nowhere. Write it all out, get your emotions out, put it in a letter, put it in an envelope, address the envelope, and then light it, and let the smoke take it to the gods or God, whichever your belief is. And then that way you're releasing that. You put it out, you've given it back to the universe, and that's just a good way to take care of it. How about knocking on wood? Ancient pagans used to believe that there were spirits living in the trees. Knocking on the trunks would summon them for protection. The gesture was also used to thank them when something good happened. The tradition then took shape in other cultures. Some Christians associated the tradition with the cross, and Jews associated it with knocking on wooden doors of synagogues while seeking shelter during the Spanish Inquisition. Interesting. So knocking on wood, you're asking for the spirit of the wood to come out and help you and protect you. And then you thank it by knocking on the wood. I think you're just irritating the spirit because he's like, I'm trying to nap in here. How about opening umbrellas indoors? I always just thought it was irritating because if you open it up, you might knock something over and shatter it. That's why it was bad luck. But you can actually thank the ancient Egyptians for this bad omen. They used umbrellas to protect themselves from the sun, but opening them indoors was considered an insult to the sun god. It was equally as offensive to open one in an area that was not sunny. Another theory traces it back to the 18th century England, when the mechanics of the modern umbrella made them straight up dangerous when opened in close quarters. As I mentioned, breaking stuff, dropping it, knocking it over. How many of us remember this? Find a penny, pick it up, and all day long you'll have good luck. That is, as long as the penny is face up. If you pick up a penny that's upside down, Charlie Brown, that's a bad omen. Most people wouldn't consider a single cent on the ground to be good fortune. But back in ancient times, it was quite the find. Old civilizations believe that the finding of any metal on the ground was a gift from the gods. Some people believe holding on to the penny will bring good luck, and others think the good luck comes when you give that penny away. Either way, there's a lot of value to place on one penny. Interesting. I like that little insight. How about spilling salt? Now, this is, I have not read this in their official take on it yet. I always believed it to be when you knock over the salt, first of all, it's bad luck just to waste the salt. But what you were doing is you would take the pinch, throw it over your left shoulder. Over the left shoulder, you're blinding the devil that sits on your shoulder, knocking him off. The one that tells you, hey, let's go kill that guy. Hey, let's go eat the last cookie out of Dad's cookie jar. It would blind that little sucker and keep him from harassing you and giving you bad thoughts. According to this article, there are a couple of reasons why spilled salt is supposedly bad luck. The simple explanation is that salt was once used as an expensive trading commodity, so spilling it was just plain wasteful. The other theory is that it was considered a magical substance in ancient times where it was used to perform rituals. Spilling it meant you were inviting the devil in, which is interesting now because we spill it along the perimeters of our houses and buildings to protect from the dark forces. Toasting with water. Why do we toast? Clinking glasses with water in your cup has been bad karma since the ancient Greeks, who only toasted with water to honor the dead. The idea started with the myth that the dead drank from the river Lethe in the underworld to leave behind their corporeal lives. This toasting tradition evolved over time into a superstition that you're wishing bad luck or death upon someone when you cheers with water in your glass. I did not know that. How very strange. We are a weird, weird world. Beginner's luck. The gambling superstition is rooted in a psychological term called confirmation bias. It's the theory that if you have some preconceived idea about something, your mind is on the lookout for evidence to back that up. In this case, losing at a game against someone who has never played before sticks out in your mind more than all of the other times that you've won. So that's where beginner's luck comes from. Oh, God. If you were a child like me of the late 60s, 70s, and 80s, you might remember chain letters. I think they even started this in the 90s and early 2000s. We used to get those stupid chain letter emails. Being tagged in a social media post that says you need to tag other people or you'll be doomed is pretty much a tale as old as time in one form or another. According to NPR, the world's first chain letter was sent around hundreds of years ago, and the falsely credited author was Jesus. The letter was supposedly sent down to earth after he ascended to heaven and included the line, "He that copieth this letter shall be blessed of me. He that does not shall be cursed." Copies of the letter from the mid-1700s have been uncovered, and the concept of the chain letter still lives on in new forms of communication. As I mentioned, email form. Did your mom or grandma or your dad or uncle, grandpa, did they ever do chain letters? I know my mom did. She would respond because you had to send it out to 7 people. It was just complete and utter bullshit, right? But it was like, oh, don't break this chain. The last person that broke this chain died of blah, 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 some horrific thing, right? Tripped over a black cat and, broke their neck on a ladder, some ridiculous deal. So you have to keep the chain going. And they would always tell you what would happen to you if you didn't. What about a rabbit's foot? Well, it's good luck for you, bad luck for the rabbit. The idea of rabbits being lucky is part of Celtic lore. The idea sprung from the fact that they live underground, which made people at the time think that they had a direct line of communication with the gods. In more recent times, the animal's reputation for being fertile made rabbit-themed charms among women very popular when they were hoping to conceive. Good Lord, I've carried rabbit's feet for years. No wonder I've got a bajillion children. Most rabbit foot charms today are actually just made of fake fur and plastic, but the association is still there. So when you see that, don't get all wigged out, PETA. Speaking of which, we've got a crazy-ass PETA story coming up a little bit later today. And I'm not putting the PETA down, but this is nuts. We're going to talk about their human leather ads that they're running. We'll do that in a little bit. And for those of you following along online on social media or YouTube for this video, you'll actually see the picture of the jacket that they created. How about stepping on a crack? Step on a crack, break your mama's back. Remember that? There are some internet theories that say that this superstition actually had racist beginnings back in the 19th century, but cracks have been something to avoid since far earlier. European and early American folktales spread the notion that the empty space in cracks, whether in sidewalks, floors, walls, etc., were actually connections from Earth to the spirit world. Messing with them in any way would cause trouble and misfortune. This eventually gave way to the popular nursery rhyme, "Step on a crack, break your mother's back." How many of you, honestly, when you were pissed off as a little kid, would go out and stomp on cracks? Don't you lie to me, you sons of bitches. I know that there were people out there doing it. I wasn't the only one. Speaking of breaking backs, how about breaking a wishbone? The wishbone superstition started thousands of years ago with the Italian Empire. The Etruscan Italian Empire, to be specific. They predicted the future by observing chickens and viewed the collarbone as a sacred part of the bird. The, Etruscans, I think that's how you say it, would let the collarbones dry out and then keep them to make wishes. Romans adopted this tradition and started breaking the bones among 2 people due to lack of availability. Horseshoes. Horseshoes are considered symbols of good luck because of a Christian story about the 10th century Saint Dunstan. He was a blacksmith who was approached by the devil in disguise, as he is always wont to do, to put shoes on his horse, but Dunstan saw through the disguise and put the shoes on the devil's feet instead. Dunstan agreed to remove the shoes only if the devil had agreed never to try and enter the home with a horseshoe hanging on its door. It's customary to hang your horseshoe with 7 nails, but there is some debate over whether it should be hung with the ends point up or down so that the shoe catches luck, or down so that it pours luck onto the people who pass through that doorway. Which way did you grow up? I always believed you had to have it up like a U to hold the good luck in. Again, it's interesting just how you perceive it, right? The concept that it's upside down, it's pouring good luck on you as you walk through that door frame. Pretty cool. And this was something growing up again. This was before video games and all the different distractions of electronics and kids going out on the playground and pulling their phone out and playing with it. We used to be challenged by our teachers during lunch break and recess to go out and find a 4-leaf clover. And if we found a 4-leaf clover, we'd get a piece of candy. And you might think the myth of the 4-leaf clover has Celtic origins, but you'd be wrong. The hype around the shamrock actually started with Adam and Eve when Eve took a 4-leaf clover from the Garden of Eden as a souvenir from the beautiful paradise that they were leaving behind when they were exiled. Other cultures, including the ancient Egyptians, and yes, Druid priests of Ireland, who believed that the clovers had healing properties and could ward off evil. It's estimated that the chances of finding a 4-leaf clover is 1 in 10,000. I think I probably through my life found about a dozen 4-leaf clovers. Remember trying to split one of the leaves, trying to think you were smart? So it was really just 3 leaves and then a split leaf so that it looked like 4. That never fooled anybody. How about bad things happening in 3? We've all heard that, especially with celebrity deaths. Now, this is another one that you can chalk up to confirmation bias. People have a tendency to take notice of the bad stuff to support this theory, but in actuality, there is usually the same balance of good and bad stuff happening to any person at any given time. But I think we notice them in 3s. It does happen, but listen, you can say, oh my God, 3 celebrities died this week, but next week another celebrity will die, or, a sports figure or something. It's just through attrition of life that's going to happen, right? How about this one? Bird pooping on you brings good luck. I think that has to be a loser that got shit on by a pigeon that's trying to sell that deal. No, this is a sign of good luck. Seriously. The superstition is believed to have originated in Russia. The good luck involved with a bird doing its business on you is supposedly just the simple fact that it happens so rarely that when it does, it's a blessing. It's also a sign that wealth is heading your way, or pigeons with poopy problems. I never knew about this. Hats on a bed bring bad luck. The origin of this is a little unclear. One theory is that putting a hat on your bed is too similar to the old practice of putting a dead person's hat on their coffin, and that doing so would bring death to your home. There's also an idea that people used to think that evil spirits lived in their hair. Oh, see, that's why I'm so holy, guys. I'm bald. All the evil spirits fell out, unless they're attached to the ones in my nose and ears at this point. There's also an idea that people used to think that evil spirits lived in their hair and hats, presumably because of the phenomena that we now know as static electricity. Those spirits would transfer to the bed if you put your hat on it. It's also possible that the whole superstition came about just to prevent the spread of lice, which is what I believe, probably more. Then there's the dead man's hand in poker. All right, turn to the partner next to your friend, relative, coworker. Ask them if they know what the dead man's hand is. Do you know what the dead man's hand is? Well, it's considered bad luck in poker to be dealt a 2-pair hand consisting of black 8s and black aces, regardless of the hole card. The dead man's hand got its name because, according to legend, they were the cards held by Wild Bill Hickok when he was murdered in the Old West back in 1876. What do you think? That was, I believe, in Deadwood, South Dakota, where he had that winning hand, aces and 8s. That sounds like a great winning hand, and he got shot, dead. So obviously it's bad luck. So if you and I are ever playing poker and you get aces and 8s, black aces, just fold, because it's not good. You don't want that stigma. Bananas on a boat are unlucky. Well, you tell that to Harry Belafonte. Deo. Now, among sea-faring folks, bananas are taken very seriously. They are in my house as well. We fight over them. No one's quite sure how exactly this fear got started. Theories include the notion that spiders and snakes would Trojan horse on board amid the bunches, or that the ethylene gas emitted by bananas as they ripen would spoil other perishables on board. But some people still take it very seriously, going as far as to ban Banana Republic garb or banana boat sunscreen. How about wishing on a star? Wishing on shooting stars goes back way further than, what is B.O.B.? I don't know what that means. The first century, yes, first philosopher Ptolemy believed that when meteors occurred, it meant the gods were looking down and paying attention to Earth and thus available to be pelted with wishes. So if you saw that falling star, that meant that at that moment, the gods were paying attention. So you could ask them for something if you were smart enough and paying close enough attention. Saying the word Macbeth in a theater will bring a curse, called the Scottish curse. This belief is particular to actors. They get around it by referring to the Shakespeare play as that Scottish play or the Bard's play. According to legend, productions of the play have been particularly accident-prone. An actor who slips up and invites disaster must engage in a cleansing ritual before being allowed back in. We're coming to the end here. Seeing your doppelganger is a bad omen. Some people believe that your doppelganger, your double walker, per the German's word's literal meaning, is an evil twin or even a harbinger of your impending death. So if you ever go out and see someone that looks identical to you, it could be bad luck. I had a funny moment happen a few years ago at a paranormal conference here in Mahnomen, Minnesota, up at the Shooting Star Casino. I was with the guys from Ghost Adventures, and I was wearing this short kind of math teacher shirt, that kind of plaid pattern. My glasses are on. And all of a sudden, Billy Tolley and Aaron Goodwin came around the corner and they're like, dude, you got to come see this. The future you is here. So this doppelganger didn't look like me now. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And I rounded the corner and sure as shit, there's a guy sitting there playing slots in an identical shirt, same glasses, profiles. We looked identical, but he just looked about 20 years older than me. So I actually have a picture of this that's funny. I'll have to dig it up sometime and maybe put it up again on social media. But it is weird because I kind of walk by him and then kind of crouch so that they could take a picture of us and see both of us. And it's bonkers. It cracks me up. But I never felt that was bad luck. Now, bringing old dishcloths to a new home is bad luck. I think this is something that was started by, I don't know, Snoop Dogg. I don't know, maybe his co-conspirator, and I can't even think of her damn name now, the home and garden goddess. Why can't I think of her name? They have a TV show. They did a bunch of stuff to Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart just wants to sell you more dish towels, but an old American superstition had it that all cleaning cloths should be burned before moving to a new home so that you wouldn't bring any bad luck that you wiped up at the old place. Well, I use Bounty, the quicker picker upper, which soaks up even more bad luck than normal. That's why I believe I was saved through all of that. So there you go. Those are some of the common superstitions and the belief behind them. When we come back, we've got some strange stories to cover, including how a frantic homeowner dealt with a snake problem. And apparently Elon Musk wants us dead. Yep, all that and more right after this. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the program. This is Darkness Radio. Hey, if you want to see me, come on out, check out some of the cool events I've got going on. I'm going to actually be in January, at the Hell Frozen Over event here in Minnesota at the Palmer House Hotel in Sauk Center, Minnesota. The full event tickets are completely sold out with the ghost on, but we do have our general admission seats that are still available and much cheaper, which allows you to come in, see Shane Pittman, myself from the Holzer Files, Bill Chappell, and our friend Jamie Houck, the medium, will be on hand as well. So if you're interested in coming out, being a part of this, hearing about ghost stories, insights into ghost investigations, equipment, tools, and more. We'd love for you to join us. So come on out, check it out for yourself. You can find more information at darknessevents.com. I'm also going to be back on the Jericho cruise. Lucky number 4 will be taking place in March over the St. Patrick's Day. So you can get drunk with me aboard a very nice cruise ship and have a great time with wrestling, rocking, and rolling. That's right. Quiet Riot's going to be on board. All the AEW wrestling fun you can deal with. I'm the paranormal contingent. I will be there telling ghost stories, doing live podcast. Comedian Jeff Dye will be there. He has also agreed to appear with me on the podcast, so we're going to have some fun with that too. I hope you'll check it out and get tickets and information over at darknessevents.com. So keep checking that for yourself. Let's dive into our next story here. This one particularly hits me right in the feels because this is a true fear and a concern of mine for many, many years. I don't know that I would handle it quite the same way, but a frantic homeowner burned their house down while fighting off invading snakes. Let's face it, we all might have done this. A homeowner burned their house down while trying to manage a snake infestation on November 23rd. Officials have confirmed that around 75 firefighters responded to the property on Big Woods Road near Poolesville, Maryland at 10 p.m. Montgomery County Fire and Rescue spokesperson Pete Piringer tweeted that the owner tried using smoke from coals to fight the serpents in a house, according to NBC. He tweeted, update, Big Woods Road, fire, 11:23, cause, accidental homeowner using smoke to manage snake infestation. It's believed the heat source, the coals too close to combustibles, area of origin, basement walls, floor, that caused damage of $1 million. Thankfully, no human injuries. There is no update on what happened to the snakes. However, the fire started when the coals got too close to flammable materials in the house, sparking the blaze. Piringer added in a future update, the status of the snakes is still undetermined. The fire spread from the basement, consuming the entire home, causing more than $1 million in damage, officials say. Photos show flames shooting from the roof and second-story windows. In a similar incident, a bloke attempted to use an open flame to kill a huge wolf spider that invaded their home. That also did not go well. Remember, all these news stories can be found up at darknessradio.com under our news tab. Go check that out for yourself. And you can see these news stories, any of the video links, photographs, things that are up with that. Our next story, this is very weird that the headline jumps out. And this comes from the Business Insider magazine. Elon Musk thinks you should die. That's right. When billionaire Elon Musk isn't busy running Tesla and SpaceX as a CEO, where he's attempting to transform how we drive and turn humans into multi-planet species, he's not researching the secret of immortality. I'm not aware of any secret technology to combat aging, Musk said during an interview this week at the Wall Street Journal CEO Council Summit. Moreover, even if humans could live much longer, Musk said that wouldn't be such a good thing for humanity or society on the whole. It's important for us to die because most of the people don't change their mind. They just die, he said. If you live forever, you might become a very ossified society where new ideas cannot succeed. The concept that people don't change their minds, even when provided with factual evidence to the contrary, has been repeatedly confirmed in studies across the last 50 years. Therefore, Musk argued if people were to live longer or become immortal, it would be detrimental on society, where ideas stagnate and fester rather than being evolved or overtaken by succeeding generations of people. This isn't the first time, though, that Musk has gone after aging populations, impact on everyone else. He recently argued for age limits on holding public office and echoed those sentiments during the Wall Street Journal conference. I'm not poking fun at aging, he said. I'm saying we've got people in very important positions that have to make decisions that are critical to the security of our country. Then they need to have sufficient presence of mind and cognitive ability to make those decisions well, because the whole country is depending on them. Now, I believe everything he just said in that. He says the current U.S. president, for instance, is 79 years old and was born during World War II. The last U.S. president left office at age 74. In Musk's opinion, neither man would have been able to hold office as they're both over the age of 70. So there is a full interview with Elon Musk at the Wall Street Journal CEO Council Summit. That's part of this news story. But I had to read this story to you because, again, he believes, we all need to die. Okay, I see his points on that, and he is right. People don't like to change their mindset. But it was this next story that followed this story. 2 stories back to back that came out. He just gets done telling you, we need to die. We need to, as a matter of fact, we need to kind of watch over society. Well, Elon Musk said that Neuralink hopes to start implanting its brain chips in humans as early as 2022, which is later than he anticipated, though. Elon Musk has said that Neuralink, his brain interface technology company, hopes to start implanting its microchips in human beings next year. Now, here's the upside. Neuralink co-founded by Musk in 2016, is developing a chip that would be implanted in people's brains to simultaneously record and stimulate brain activity. It is intended to have a medical application, such as treating serious spinal cord injuries and neurological disorders. But during a live stream interview at the Wall Street Journal CEO Council Summit on Monday, Musk was asked what Neuralink planned to do in 2022. Musk said Neuralink's working well in monkeys, and we're actually doing just a lot of testing and just confirming that it's very safe and reliable and that Neuralink device can be removed safely. He added, we hope to have this in our first humans, which will be people that have severe spinal cord injuries, like tetraplegics, quadriplegics, next year, pending FDA approval. Musk said that Neuralink's standards for implanting the device are substantially higher than what the FDA even requires. Musk reiterated the 2022 timeline in a post on Twitter. Progress will accelerate when we have devices in humans. Hard to have nuanced conversations with monkeys, and this should happen next year, he said. Musk has previously offered earlier timeframes for Neuralink, implanting its chips in humans for the first time. He said in February that Neuralink could start implanting the tech in people by the end of 2021. In 2019, Musk said Neuralink hoped to begin human testing by the end of 2020. Musk has a history of overpromising and under-delivering on project timelines, according to this article from MSN News. But in April, Neuralink released a video of a monkey playing a video game using a Neuralink device. After raising $205 million in July, Neuralink said it would channel the funds towards developing its chips so it could allow quadriplegics to control digital devices with their minds. Quadriplegia or tetraplegia is the full or partial paralysis of the arms and legs. Neuralink isn't the only company developing brain interface technology, though. A 20-person biotech firm called Synchron obtained FDA approval to start human testing in July of this year. Interesting. You can find the original article on our site as well. But do you trust a guy who says, yeah, we got to die to implant something in your brain, especially in the brains of people that are physically limited and the elderly? Are we sure he's not just going to hit the little button to burn you out and stop you right in your place? I know, Dave, that sounds horrible. Why would you even bring that up? I'm just saying, there are a lot of conspiracies out there. That's one that I would actually hang my hat on. That's one that I'd be a little bit more nervous about. Am I being a silly ninny? What do you think? Email me, dave@darknessradio.com. I'd like to hear from you. A murderer accused said that hospital staff were aliens, according to jurors. Intensive care nurses were accused of being aliens who were trying to steal Wallington Woods murder accused Daniel O'Hara Wright's blood. Boy, that's poorly written. The 24-year-old was taken to John Radcliffe Hospital, Oxford, after he was discovered bloodied in the bathroom of a detached farmhouse in Christmas Common on October 23rd last year. He's badly electrocuted his arm, which later had to be amputated by surgeons, and had slash wounds all over his body. Now, on November 1st, he spat his own feces into the face of PC Ben Lewis as they tried to restrain him. He chanted in an incomprehensible tongue mixed in with phrases in English like mother of wolves. Earlier that morning, he was said to have sat up on his bed with a blanket over his head. He was agitated and asked to go for a walk. He continually spoke about wanting to eat red meat, jurors heard. O'Hara Wright accused the staff of being aliens and later of giving away my blood before claiming he was stuck in this fake Matrix bullshit. Maybe I did kill a human being. Maybe I didn't, he reportedly told the police officers. Well, there's a 50-50 chance either way, I guess. The officers warned him he was under caution and anything he said may be used in evidence against him. From my recollection, I did actually kill my mother because I thought she was the devil, he replied. He said he had woken up to that reality of the truth. That's creepy. And then he believed that aliens were the nurses and doctors taking care of him. That's what's going on out there. Again, big thank you to our frontline workers, nurses and doctors who are out there doing their very best, facing insanity like that every day. Speaking of aliens, how about this story? A pilot was baffled when he spotted a fleet of UFOs flying in formation at 39,000 feet before just vanishing in the sky. The aviation expert witnessed this bizarre sighting when he was flying over the contested South China Sea in the airspace between Taiwan and Hong Kong on November 24th. Footage taken inside the cockpit shows 9 spotlights beaming in the clouds with the sunset in the background. The lights, which can be seen moving in 3 rows, soon transforms and becomes 12 lights as it travels in a forward direction. I do not know what this is. This is some weird shit. That is something flying, the captain can be heard saying to his co-pilot. The mysterious objects have lights disappearing at the bottom and then reappearing at the top, and the strange formation lasts slightly over a minute before it just disappears into a cloud. Crazy stuff. The photographs of them are up, and again, you can go check out the articles at darknessradio.com. Click on the news tab. These UFOs are watching to see what China and other military ships do. Viewers were stunned by the footage and said it's proof that aliens have made contact. I don't know. To me, it looks like reflections on the window they're looking out of. But again, I'm not there. And if he was actually watching them fly and move around, I don't want to sound too dismissive to what they were seeing. And talk about seeing weird stuff. This has been blowing up the news. I must have had about 200 of you send me this story on social media and an email form. China's Yutu-2 rover has spotted a mysterious object described as a hut or house on the far side of the moon, according to a recent log of the lunar rover's activities. Yutu-2 encountered the cube-shaped object while driving across the Von Karman crater last month during the mission's 36th lunar day, according to a post published on Our Space, a Chinese media channel affiliated with the China National Space Administration. Space.com has reported. The rover, which landed on the far side of the moon in January 2019, sent back images of the object on the horizon. According to the post, the rover was located 80 meters away, about 262 feet, and is expected to reach the site in 2 or 3 months of trekking. That is slow. It's like Los Angeles traffic slow. I think they're just going to get there and find out it's a Starbucks. They're everywhere. Space.com pointed out that the mystery hut is used as a placeholder name because of its appearance. It's not literally a hut, at least they don't think so. The site also offered a possible explanation of the object's true origin. It could be a large boulder that was just extracted by an impact event. I'll tell you what, if Pizza Hut is smart, I know that they've closed a lot of stores down, but they should definitely jump on this, and it turns out they're the first Pizza Hut on the moon. China landed Yutu-2 on the far side of the moon as part of its unmanned Chang'e 4 mission. The rover's journey has involved hill climbing and moving through rocky terrain in the Von Karman crater. The attention over the latest discovery comes as China has been accelerating its space program. In October, China launched a 3-person crew for a 6-month mission aboard its own space station, aiming to set a new record for the length of time spent in space by Chinese astronauts. Earlier this year, China successfully landed a solar-powered rover on Mars. We'll keep watching that as it continues to evolve and proceed as well. Where are we going to go next? Oh, yes. This is interesting to me. The Pentagon, the office is being criticized as an effort to control UFO investigations and end transparency. American officials and analysts globally are raising alarm about a new Defense Department office that will handle the U.S. government's examination of unidentified flying objects, warning that the move indicates the military wants to end a brief spell of transparency and shove UFO reports back into a closet under lock and key, where they belong. The Pentagon quietly announced the Tuesday night before Thanksgiving that it had formed an esoteric-sounding airborne object identification and management synchronization group. AOIMSG, so AOMSG group. Working with the intelligence agencies, it serves as the follow-up to a government-wide effort earlier this year. And in this effort, they're trying to document and analyze reports of encounters with unidentified objects, unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs in the Pentagon jargon, predominantly from military pilots. The new office, which reports to the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security, will now oversee the entire government study of UFOs, focusing on sightings within restricted military airspace, and will also assess and mitigate any associated threats to safety or flight and national security, a spokeswoman said. The Defense Department has since justified the composition of the office as a necessary evil to provide uniformity to the reporting process and subsequent analysis. But some researchers characterize the Pentagon's latest move as insulting in an attempt to run around specific efforts by civilian organizations and leaders in Congress to exercise greater oversight over the government's study of UAPs. It represents a brazen step towards completely stifling the burgeoning demand from the public and Congress for increased UFO transparency, according to Peter Whitley, a researcher based in Japan and a member of the Mutual UFO Network, MUFON, which considers itself one of the largest and oldest of its kind. Clearly, the DoD, the Department of Defense, is attempting to reverse course on this trend and shut the door on further disclosure of any kind. Others who follow the issue closely see it as nothing more than a play by the Pentagon to control a subject that should belong in the arena of scientific study at the expense of proper oversight. What do you guys make of that? Lots of changes, lots of stuff going on out there in the world of UAPs. I know one person who's rooting for aliens to land here, and it is Machine Gun Kelly. Is that his name? Machine Gun Kelly? I got to look it up here. Yeah, Machine Gun Kelly. Why would he be interested? Because he's hoping that aliens will use his nail polish one day. All right. What entrepreneur wouldn't hope aliens would come here and use their nail polish? Machine Gun Kelly hopes his debut unisex nail polish line, Undian Lacquer, LAQR, will be used by aliens one day. My ex-best friend's star has revealed his genderless range, which is out now, is inspired by the god of desire, erotic love, attraction, and affection, Cupid. The 31-year-old rapper turned pop punk rocker told Allure many of the men in Greek mythology were warriors or soldiers or gods who had used their strength. And then there was Cupid, who was poetic and beautiful. The I Think I'm Okay singer went on to say, I wonder what a world of Cupids would look like instead of just people falling into what they think we have to be as men. A single nail polish, which includes shades such as Mary Jane, a deep green, Depressionist, which is a jet black, matte top coat, Nothing Matters, and Writer's Block Gray, is priced at $18, and a 6-shade collection is priced as high as $86. And the polishes are designed for everyone, including extraterrestrials. The drunk face hitmaker quipped, I'm hoping aliens at some point, when they reveal themselves, are fully immersed in the UNDN stuff. Why not? Sure, why wouldn't they want to use nail polish when they land here? Right? I'm sure they've been traversing the universe in hopes of uncovering the perfect nail polish to bring back home. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I shouldn't be so quick to judge. But it just sounds strange to me. We're heading over to Georgia now, home of Shane Pittman. Was a Bigfoot or skunk ape caught on camera in Georgia, or was it just Shane before shaving for this weekend's event? Every year, there are thousands of reported sightings of Bigfoot in North America. While most take place in the Pacific Northwest, that's not the only area where a Sasquatch has been spotted. In fact, someone recently filmed what they claim is the mysterious creature in the woods of Georgia. The video, which has been shared by the @Cryptid University Instagram account, shows shaky footage of what appears to be a large ape-like animal with black fur bending over behind some trees in the distance. When the creature fully stands, it looks taller and bigger than a human. It then walks off as a person filming hides behind a tree. Commenters on the video are torn on if it's real, with some writing things like, best footage I've seen. That thing was huge, while others said they do all sorts of things for attention down in Georgia, and filmed in 2021 with a flip phone and no backstory, location, or anything? Well, listen, how old is the guy filming it? My dad is 76 years old, 75, almost 76 years old. He carries a flip phone that does have a good video camera on it. So if he's out there and saw this, I could see him whipping out the old flip phone, trying to capture Bigfoot on video, simply just to show me, if anything else. Very strange. All right, I promised it. It is here now. PETA is in the news. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see the image up in front of you right now. PETA launches a human leather shop in the name of animal rights. People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, has taken another drastic measure to get people to stop using animal fur and skins. The animal rights group has decided to launch a satirical online store that sells clothing items made from human leather. They have a pair of boots. I don't have that image up, but they're creepy. I want a pair. The soles look like teeth, like gums and teeth. And then the rest of the boot looks like it was made by Leatherface in his shop. The store is out to put pressure on stores that sell fur and animal skins, such as Urban Outfitters. PETA has once again managed to shock people with their latest efforts to get people to stop making and buying animal products, such as fur and skin. Taking a jab at Urban Outfitters, PETA has launched a satirical online shop called Urban Outrage that sells clothes made from human leather. This jacket is insane. It looks like something Pinhead has underneath his black leather bondage attire. There is also a dress. For you watching, I didn't save this picture of the dress. I'm going to do that right now. I will put it up on the live video so that you guys can see this. It is crazy. This looks like the Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead from the Evil Dead movie series. I'm sure if somebody actually brought this to a horror movie convention, it would sell out immediately. It is hauntingly beautiful and creepy and elegant all at the same time. Again, if you want to see the article and you're not watching online or on my social media as this is going, you could just go check it out for yourself at darknessradio.com. Click on that news tab and you'll find the information. A cow's skin belongs to her, and she feels fear and pain in a slaughterhouse every bit as much as you or I would, PETA's executive vice president Tracy Riemann said in an exclusive statement to the New York Post. The items available on the site are not actually for sale and serve only to show people what it would be like if humans were also used for their skin. The publication also reports how PETA earlier did a campaign to promote veganism. During this campaign, they showed people fondling fruits such as avocados, oranges, and kiwis. During a different campaign, they shared a clip of animals being beaten and abused for their skin and fur. This is weird. I'm going to save this boot image as well because I think these are pretty cool looking. And again, just the horror fan in me likes these. So now you've seen the jacket, you've seen the dress, and I will now post the shoes. And again, these are actually on the article so that you can see them for yourself if you go to darknessradio.com and click on the news. But tell me there aren't people out there listening to the show right now that wouldn't buy those boots. I'm thinking about having boots made like that because I think people would buy them and get them. They're very cool, very weird, but good job, PETA. You have definitely raised awareness, and that's an interesting way to do it. And I'm not saying that sarcastically or ironically, trying to find ways to show the horror of it, right? How would you feel if these outfits were made of human skin? Put your hands down. I don't want to actually know if you no, put your hands down. Don't show me, you psychopaths. A man reckons he found a mummy inside a tree at LA's oldest graveyard. A man reckons he found this mummy after finding a mysterious box wrapped up inside a tree. The man, known as Tar Pit, was walking in the Evergreen Memorial Park and Cemetery, which was established in 1877. The artist shared a clip to his TikTok page as he came across a tree which had been cut down. He said, "Look what I found." Okay, so they felled this tree in the graveyard. I'm here picking up sticks and wood chips to burn in my kiln. This is the oldest graveyard in LA. He zooms in on the ground and films what appears to be a wooden box tied with what could be string, with one side loose after years of decay. "What is this?" he continues as he films with one hand and uses the other to unwrap the box. Tar Pit continues, "No part two. We're opening this right now. I can see something in there, and it looks kind of gross. It's all wrapped up. Is that a mummy?" Inside the box is a small figurine-type object, which appears to have been tightly bound with string or thread. He says, okay, I've seen what I needed to see. It's something tiny all wrapped up in string, and we're going to put it back to rest. Don't you think? Tar Pit put everything back where he found it and covered it up with some wood. This clip, shared last week, amassed more than 200,000 views. Can also be seen in the article that I have posted. The clip underlining what he thought he found, he added the on-screen caption mummy, while also adding the hashtags #mummy, graveyard, scary, and cursed. The clip drew numerous comments, as some people claimed what he found may have been a fetus. Eesh. Christina Breen said people used to do that with babies when they miscarried. They would bind them and stick them in trees. I'm pretty sure that's what you found. Lil Walt agreed, saying maybe a fetus. Shelby Lynn Gruen commented, when you go to walk the dog and bring home a fetus spirit. So it's just gross that I didn't know that they would do that. They would bind miscarried babies and put them in trees. I would have thought maybe more along the lines of something Santeria, something voodoo or hoodoo as a way to heal somebody or bind a spirit to something so that it could no longer do harm or injustice. I don't know. What are your thoughts? I love hearing your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Here's the Ouija part of the story that I promised today. Oh, Ouija believe we're finally there. Dave, first of all, it's not a Ouija. It's just Ouija. I know, but it sounds better. Oh, Ouija. Like, oh, would you believe? The spirit told me a baby was coming. These stars have all used a Ouija board to speak to ghosts. Spirits, identify yourself. Our fascination with the supernatural gives us poltergeist movies and ghost hunter TV shows. Some people, though, aren't satisfied with just seeing spirits on screen, and they seek out paranormal experiences in real life. Some of the world's biggest stars have dabbled in the occult by using a Ouija board to contact the dead. And these celebrities have all spoken to ghosts. Andy McDowell. My sisters and I really love ghosts and the idea of ghosts. We use the Ouija board to talk to dead relatives, and they actually do communicate with us. That's according to the 4 Weddings and a Funeral star, which she revealed speaking to People magazine. Andy claimed that during one spirit session, a dead uncle predicted a lot of stuff that's actually happened in her career. Katie Price, former model Katie Price, took part on reality TV show Celebrity Haunted Mansion, and afterwards, she experimented with a Ouija board. Speaking to the Daily Mirror newspaper, she said, I like to try Ouija boards. I do things with candles. I chant spirits. I do everything I can. Kendall Jenner, in an interview with Vogue magazine, the model spilled that when she was a teenager, she was certain that her mom, Kris Jenner's house was haunted. Kendall, along with some friends, tried to communicate with the spirits in an effort to confirm what she believed. She said, the scariest thing we used to do was play with the Ouija board. I do believe in ghosts. I don't know if they've ever seen one, but I've experienced some pretty ghosty situations. In the house my mom lives in, Kylie and I would always hear footsteps on the roof while no one was home. Kylie's shower used to turn on all the time, and we never knew why. So yeah, I'm pretty convinced that it was a ghost. That's according to the article. Kylie Jenner weighs in. Who better to join Kendall in this spooky activity than her sister? Kylie Jenner also used a Ouija board along with her sibling at the friends' homes, as their mother, Kris Jenner, would not allow a spirit board at their home. This was confirmed by Kendall herself to Vogue magazine, admitting that she and her sister had to share the bed on multiple occasions after the terrifying experience. Kylie said, it was me, Kylie, and our 2 other friends. We would always go to their house because my mom didn't let us have a Ouija board in our house. We would ask it like little kid questions. What's my aunt's middle name? And it would give it. We were really scared. It would ruin our night. We'd have to sleep in the same bed with their mother. Goldie Hawn weighs in. Goldie revealed on the Oprah Winfrey show that in the 80s, she found an old Ouija board at her home and decided to try it. Goldie, who is in a long-term relationship with Guardians of the Galaxy actor Kurt Russell, first asked, "Who is with us now?" prompting the board to spell out "new baby Russell." "I get the chills just thinking about it," said Goldie, who a few months later found out she was pregnant with their son Wyatt. Ooh, that's a good one. Kate Hudson, a special guest at Goldie's spooky sessions, was her daughter, Kate Hudson. According to America's Star magazine, Goldie has invited Kate and some friends over because she never wanted to use a Ouija board alone. How about Charlotte Crosby took part on Celebrity Ghost Hunt Live and used a Ouija. In the show, Charlotte was one of the stars in charge of trying to communicate with spirits during a 90-minute session along with psychics. Natalie Dormer, the Game of Thrones star, told Women Weekly magazine that she used to use a Ouija board when she was younger. She said, it's part of the rite of passage of adolescence to explore these esoteric things. You want to believe in higher powers because the world can be a very confusing place, and your identity can be a very confusing landscape. And I think we are nearing the end of our celebrity Ouija board stories. Charlize Theron, the Mad Max actress Charlize, used a Ouija board for a video for Cosmopolitan. Her reaction was so extreme that the clip went viral. Charlize was so scared by the experience that she vowed to never dabble in the occult again. She said, I'm a little unsettled by this. I get all my information from films, and every film has always told me, don't mess with this. That's good. When all of your information, Charlize, comes from movies, which I believe that's how she learned to speak English. Seriously, I think she learned it from watching TV and movies. Greg Sulkin, the Wizards of Waverly Place star, had the same experience as Charlize Theron and experimented with a Ouija board for a video for Cosmopolitan. He said, I absolutely do believe in spirits, which was part of my hesitation into doing this. As he used the spirit board, Greg couldn't stop his hands from shaking. You can check out that entire article, all the photographs and stories for yourself on the website. And finally, our final story is here, and it involves Octavia Spencer, who believes her house is haunted by the ghost of a Western movie star. I love him, she said. Octavia Spencer is revealing the unexpected guest she shares her house with, the ghost of a Western film star. Octavia, 51, opened up about her supernatural roommate during a Friday appearance on the Ellen DeGeneres show. In a sneak peek of her episode, the Hidden Figures star told Ellen DeGeneres that her home is indeed haunted, but she welcomes the spirit's presence. I need to know about your house being haunted because I really love stories like this, DeGeneres, 63, told Spencer, admitting to her guests that she truly believes in ghosts. I do too, Spencer replied before explaining, I grew up watching Westerns and I bought this house and it was once owned by a guy who did Westerns, so I must have been a fan of his. Spencer purchased a 1927 Spanish-style house in Toluca Lake in 2013. She told DeGeneres that the ghost who she claims came with the property is her protector. I love him because he kind of sorts out the bad people that shouldn't be here, Spencer explained. He runs them out. If they stay at my place, they don't want to come back. And that's how I know they don't belong here. That's how she continued. If you're a person that belongs here, everybody is like, oh, your place is so welcoming. It's so great. And that's how I feel about it. When DeGeneres asked if she's experienced any spooky moments at home, like doors closing on their own, Spencer said, well, when I leave for a long time, he's a little shady. The doors close, the lights go off and on, and I turn them on, she said. The only problem, I love my ghost. I just don't want you bringing your ghost into my house, and I don't want anybody else's ghost thinking they can be friends with my ghost. She's such a ghost elitist. Spencer added, my ghost can haunt me, but he doesn't haunt me. We do have boundaries. While Spencer claims to live with a ghost, she's also tapping into her love for the supernatural with her upcoming Apple TV film, Spirited. The actress stars along Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds in a holiday musical, which adapts the story of the Charles Dickens classic, A Christmas Carol. Spirited features the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, with Reynolds playing a modern take on the Scrooge character, according to Collider. Spencer plays Reynolds' co-worker, while Ferrell plays the ghost of Christmas present, according to the outlet. So there you go. That article is originally from People magazine. Octavia Spencer's house is haunted. Well, that's it for this week, folks. Come on out. See me if you're in Las Vegas. I'm going to be at the MGM Grand Hotel on the 10th and 11th. We have a lot of tickets that are still available. I shouldn't say a lot, but there are tickets still available for this amazing event to see all of the paranormal stars under the sky. Go check it out for yourself. You can find more information at darknessevents.com. I hope you've had a great day. Thank you for joining me here. And remember to tune in next week for brand new episodes of the best in paranormal podcasting. I'm Dave Schrader, and you've been listening to Darkness Radio.